Hi, my name is Eric Thrain and I'm a signature artist with Wella Professionals. Today, I'm going to be taking you through an introduction to our numbering system, talking about the Wella Professional tones, and then also diving into how hair color works. All color lines and color companies have a defined set of color principles that help them define the way their color line performs. In this video, we will dive into the Wella Professional's color principles, including the International Numbering System, the Wella Professional's tones, the Wella Color Wheel, as well as how hair color works. We are all familiar with depth, which is the level of how light or dark your level is, as well as the color tone, which is how warm or how cool the color is. When we're thinking of color principles, I always like to remember the acronym FAST. So FAST stands for formulation, application, saturation, and timing. F is really important because formulation is always based off of your client's natural level, texture, porosity, and percentage of gray. A is for application, and application is important because this is gonna determine where you are starting based on someone's coarseness or resistancy. Saturation is also very crucial because I always say if there's enough color on the hair, then there will be enough color in the hair. And timing, making sure that the color is developing for the full processing time to ensure consistent, even results. Wella uses an international numbering system that consists of levels from 2 to 10 for depth. We also use a numbered tonal system with a number representing a specific tone. As a global hair color company, this allows consistency in Wella formulas and understanding the shades across the world. What is depth? Depth is how light or how dark a shade is. Your client's natural depth or level is determined by using the natural shade selector found inside your Wella Professionals Mega Swatch book. With Wella's numbering system, we identify levels from levels 2 through 10 because the naked eye cannot differentiate between a level 1 and a level 2. The number you see before the stroke will indicate the level or depth of the shade. The first number after the stroke will tell us the major tone of the shade. This will tell us what we will see most in this formula. The second number will give us the minor tone and the soft tonal quality of the shade. You will see some shades with one number in front of the stroke and some with two. Those with two mean that the shade is an intensive shade. Intensive depends on what follows the stroke. We'll talk about that more in a moment. Next, let's take a look at what makes our shades unique. On the left, you'll see a chart that shows the depth and tone, and on the right, you will see our numbering system with descriptions of the colors found in each tone. What do you notice about our tones as the depth decreases and/or increases? And what tones are new to you? The intensity of the tone will depend on the depth and intensity of each shade. Stroke 0 is natural. We utilize this shade for 100% gray coverage with our permanent hair colors, but it can also decrease your tone in your overall formula. Stroke 1 is our gray-based ash. This is meant to refine and reduce warmth, but not completely neutralize it. Stroke 2 is our green, or often referred to as our matte, and this helps neutralize underlying pigment from levels 5 and below. Stroke 3 is our gold. This is going to be used to enhance warmth, especially when you're doing gray coverage, or if you are looking for more light reflection in your shade. Stroke 4 is our red. Now take note, this is a warmer red, so if you want it a little cooler, I would pair it with our stroke 5. Stroke 5 is our red violet. So this is gonna be our red tone with a slightly cooler direction, beautiful for those raspberry or cooler reds that you're looking for. Stroke 6 is our violet. Now, stroke 6 can create beautiful dark plum to merlot tones in levels 3 through 5, but we can also use it in levels 8 through 10 to help neutralize unwanted yellow tones. Stroke 7 is our warm brown. Now, our warm brown is predominantly red and yellow with a little bit of blue. This is great to create all of your chocolate, chestnuts, and even caramel tones as it ranges from levels 10 all the way down to a 4. Stroke 8 is our pearl blue. Now we see this shade in levels 2 all the way up to level 10. On our darker tones, it will create a beautiful, deep, rich, cool tone. And on our lighter levels, it will be used to neutralize any unwanted orange tones or creating a really icy blonde in our lighter levels. And our stroke 9, which is our cendre or a soft violet. Now, compared to our stroke 6, our cendre is much softer, and it can be paired with tones to either modify warmth or intensify coolness of that shade. For Illumina color specifically, we have an additional neutral tone, which is indicated by a level, stroke, and no tonal direction. This is what we call a stroke pure, and the stroke pure is intended to give us up to 100% gray coverage, but also reduced tone for your overall formula. Now you know how to read any tube of Wella hair color. This ranges from our permanent hair color to demi-permanent to semi-permanent. Let's take a quick look at a video about how these tones show up in our different color categories. Now let's take a look at the science behind a semi-permanent hair color, a demi-permanent hair color, and a permanent hair color. A semi-permanent hair color is a preformed color molecule that sits on the hair and typically lasts about 5 to 10 shampoos. We notice that something is a semi-permanent color because we don't have to mix it with a developer. There's no chemical reaction. Whatever color you have is the color that's going to be deposited onto the hair. A demi-permanent hair color is usually a blend of oxidative dyes and direct dyes. So these dyes sit in the cuticle and slightly into the cortex, but they don't permanently alter the hair strand. A permanent hair color utilizes oxidative dyes and a developer to create a chemical reaction which goes through and dissolves natural melanin and then replaces it with our oxidative dyes once they have formed fully in the cortex. Now that we know where different types of hair colors live on the hair, let's talk about how hair color works. As we know, hair is mainly keratin, the same protein found in skin and fingernails. This hair is filled with natural melanin that makes up our hair color. If the hair has no melanin, it gives the appearance of being white. Eumelanin is the darker pigments that create brown to black tones. Pheomelanin is responsible for the warmer red and gold tones. The combinations of eumelanin and pheomelanin create the individual tones in each person's hair. When we color the hair, hydrogen peroxide is the catalyst that causes permanent hair color to work. When hair color is mixed with a developer, a chemical reaction takes place. The alkali contained in the color product swells the cuticle and allows the hair color molecules to penetrate. The combination of hydrogen peroxide with an alkali creates a chemical reaction which breaks down the melanin and develops the dyes. The peroxide and alkali break apart the melanin, causing it to diffuse and give the hair a lighter appearance or lift. The peroxide is primarily responsible for dissolving the melanin. Once the color molecules are within the cortex, they begin to bond together to form a larger color molecule. These permanent color molecules now become lodged within the cortex, thus creating a change in the hair color. Now that we know how hair color performs, let's take a look at lighteners. Lightener reacts with the natural melanin or deposited hair color within the hair. Removing the color is an irreversible chemical reaction. Once the melanin has been oxidized, it breaks down and is no longer visible to the naked eye. The warmth remaining in the hair is the light passing through the fragments of tone left within the hair. This is what we call the lightening curve. We use our natural level indicator to determine the level we've lifted to by matching the underlying contributing pigment to the level of underlying warmth on the indicator. When lifted to a very pale yellow, the pale yellow is the natural color of the keratin. This is why white hair can appear to have a slight warm tone. For optimal results, perform a strand test before lightening the hair. The strand test should be conducted in a small, discrete area in the back of the head. Facilitate the strand test utilizing your desired blonde or lightener. Fully saturate the hair and place the strand test into a foil and ensure isolation. Process for only 10 minutes, rinse, shampoo, and color post-treat. Assessing these results will guide you in deciding which lightener, developer, and mixing ratio will yield desirable results. Thank you for joining Wella Color Principles. You now speak the language of Wella, and the information you just learned will be crucial building blocks for the rest of your learning journey, and you can use any tube of our color with confidence.